thought I had to be real East London to come on here. Like, oh yeah. I've seen a lot of your recent guests.
My dad, isn't it?
Not just your dad.
Yeah, it is Martin Dunn.
I was showing my dad your podcast on Instagram, just the clips. And he said, they all look like that, his guests.
I said, yeah. Darren Barden's probably...
Yeah. Kill 3 men. Oh.
It's the Wild West. It is. Yeah, there is a few. We had some Aussies and Kiwis. Carl Edwards, yeah.
Yeah.
It's everyone. Everyone's looking at...
Yeah.
Well, no, you changed it. You've changed the demographic of this podcast.
Well, you know.
You're the... What are you? Are you a killer?
I can go a bit more London if you like. Go a bit more East End.
Maybe a crane.
Yeah. I always thought I'd like to... This is totally off topic, but I always thought every time I go to Disney, I thought I could work in Disney, but I'm going to work in the London area. And I'm going to really ham it up.
In the London area of Disney?
Yeah, they have I thought you
meant in London general.
No, in Epcot they have a London area that looks like London. And I'm going to be like, oh, blimey, you want a pint? Yeah, you want some fish and chips, love? But I'm going to
mash 2 and 2.
Mary Poppins it.
Yeah, happy days. It's got the Disney, we've got Legoland as well, isn't it? It's got a good London bit.
I've never been to, do I look like someone that goes to Legoland?
Do I?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Every year.
What does that mean?
Legoland, the Disney's good. Have you been Disneyland or Disney World? Or
Disney World.
Have you been both?
To Disney World, and I've been to Disney Shanghai, and I've been to Disney Tokyo as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
Absolute topper. What's the best one?
Tokyo. Well, Disney World. Disney World's the biggest.
Disney World's in Florida one.
Yeah, the Florida one. Well. Yeah, well, it's when you go into theme parks, it kind of does. But I thought Tokyo was really nice.
Was it?
Yeah.
As a city as well.
Oh, Tokyo was cool, yeah. But that was only because I won a couple of holidays when I was sat in the crane.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I don't think I'm off living it up. I was every morning. Well, they used to do these competitions on Magic. They'd run them for about a week, and you could win different holiday destinations. And I'd be sat there in the crane, so I knew it come up about 7:30 in the morning. So I keep ringing in, because you could ring in then. I
ain't lifting it. Wait.
You didn't know. Well, nobody was lifting at 7:30 in the morning anyway. Just sat there. But so I'd keep ringing in, waiting, and then every now and again I got through. So I got through once, and I won the holiday to Shanghai, and then I got through again, and I won a holiday to Dubai, but I didn't fancy Dubai, so I told them I was allergic to dust and sand.
And you're calling me a diva? the construction worker who can't handle dust.
I told them I was a bit allergic to sand and stuff. So I didn't.
Is that even a thing?
And they said, "Do you want to go to Tokyo?"
They took you. That's even better.
Well, they said I could go to Tokyo.
There's no sand in Tokyo, no.
Tokyo, Canada, or anywhere in Europe, and I was like, Tokyo, we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting out. Wicked.
I just didn't fancy it.
Was it the sand-free zone then, Tokyo? No dust? I bet there isn't actually, is there? Although, don't they wear all the masks in Soho because the pollution? Soho? Tokyo.
It's a bit rough in Soho as well.
in Tokyo. Isn't that where they put the masks in? Because the pollution?
They do, yeah. They have a high smog ratings and things.
So you're right with that smog, but you just can't handle the sand.
Sand and sunshine, no go.
Yeah. Superb. And they sent you there. How long for?
So they pay. They give you an allowance. So they pay for your flights, and then you get money for a hotel. So you can go for as long as you want. But I went for 2 weeks.
Took me 10 to stay
Look,
for 2 weeks.
if you're going that far, you might as well stay there a little while and have a look around.
They still do these? The crane drivers still blagging these free prizes?
I remember one time I rang up, different competition, and she went, "Hello, Katie," when she answered the phone.
The usual. What are you allergic to this week?
It's like Ed Sheeran tickets or something. She was like, "You're second on the line. If the first person doesn't get it, we'll put you on."
Really?
I'm like, I didn't get that one. But yeah. And then I think they blocked me because I never won anything else ever.
That's out of order.
That's well out of order.
You join the queue with people like me, we never win nothing.
But no, they don't do it. You have to text.
Oh, do you?
They're like, texting costs £2.50, and if you win, we'll ring you.
Yeah. You're not winning.
No, you're not winning.
They're just going to wait until they get all that money comes in. Right, yeah, got enough.
They don't do it anymore.
Give it to someone who's got an allergic reaction to the holiday and can't have it, and then they won't give you the other option.
Exactly. Sorry, I digressed quite heavily there.
Should we welcome you to the podcast?
Should we talk about construction?
Welcome, Construction Sport Podcast. Our dear guest, Katie Kelleher, crane operator. Do you still class yourself as a crane operator? Or have you retired from that? Have you moved on?
I mean, I've still got my ticket, so technically, I still am a crane operator and an AP.
Do you keep it up to date?
It is up to date. So my ticket is current. I think I've got another year on it before I have to think about what I'm going to do with it.
Do you have to get that back? What do you have to do to refresh that or to renew
That's
it?
a good question.
Do you have to get in the machine, show it?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you'd have to show your skills and. I have like nightmares. I have nightmares where I can't operate cranes, and I'm taking down like buildings, and like these are real like nightmares that I have. Like I just get in a crane and I just can't operate anymore, and I've like knocked down a building, and everyone on site shouting at me, and it's getting worse.
Oh, you're dust everywhere.
It's not getting. Yeah, my allergies.
I can't do it. I've got allergies.
Yeah.
Mental health podcasters talk about nightmares and laugh about them.
No, it does. Yeah, it just shows what plays on your mind.
It does, doesn't it?
These kind of little things that, yeah.
I used to always get a dream that I was going to school naked.
Oh, did you?
No, I had my jumper on, nothing else.
These are quite cool. I've never had this.
It's weird, and few people have. It's a thing, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think it's just a strange thing from myself.
And you're an adult.
Steve, you're late for work. Where are you? Oh.
And I'm a grown man in a school of children without my trousers. That is a nightmare.
It
Terrible.
Is. Yeah, it was like a BBC One soap. On that note, but now you're at the CPA, Construction Plant Association.
Yep, Plant Hire Association.
Sorry, Construction Plant Hire Association. Yep. How is it? All good?
No, it's very good.
Couple of years now, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. 2 years, I think. I think it'll be 2 years in April. So yeah,
that's quite a cool role to go from being. It's not poacher turned gamekeeper, is it? It's more like you're still flying the flag. Yeah, you're able to help a lot more now and talk from a place of experience. Yeah,
that's it. It allows me to have a bit more of a voice. Although I think I always had a bit of a voice, and Select and Langerock were very good at letting me.
Oh yeah. Anyway, was you with Select? Is Select part of Langerock?
Yeah, part of the same company. Yeah, we're just where still talk. I did have over 9 years there, so they just deal with the kind of lifting side. You've got hoists as well, and slinger signalers and other things. But they're just a different slight division, a bit like Expanded do the piling, but still Langerock.
Was you all over the UK, or was you London based?
I was always London because I live in London. I always worked in London, so I was very fortunate. I was fortunate. Living and working in the same area, it doesn't always happen like that with crane operators.
Yeah. What cranes? What was you on?
So I was always on telescopics, which I quite like. So Liebherr telescopics, 60, 100 tons. So I worked on Crossrail projects, the bigger projects, and Tideway I worked on as well.
Cool.
In the middle of the river.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That is a cool setup, isn't it?
It looked cool. It was a crane in the middle of the river, Thames. Overlooking there's kind of you see the London Eye and things like that across because I was down at Blackfriars. Yeah. It was cool, but it's operating a crane on water.
It was actually on the water.
So it's on the
water. It's not mounted to the ground in any
No,
way,
it's on a barge. It's on like a floating barge.
Oh wow!
So it moves. And
that is quite cool.
Yeah, it I don't know if it's cool. It took a little bit of getting used to.
It's cool until you realise what you're responsible for.
It's cool until a boat flies past doing however miles per hour, and you've got something on the end of the hook, and the crane's going.
Was that just a standard ticket for a crane, or was it like
it
a
is
barge
no, it's just a standard ticket, and it was a case of just learning how things, and you quickly learn that you can't counteract the movement of the water. Yeah, because you try.
Got to go with it.
Yeah, you just got to sit it out. When I first got in there, and it goes mental. Hooks going everywhere. Everything on the end of it's going everywhere. And you try, your natural thing is to try and counteract it to get the swing out. And
nature's got you now.
Yeah. Just wait it out. Just, you learn pretty quickly.
And would you get different lifts in the morning to the afternoon with the tides and stuff?
No. I mean, most of the work we were doing there at the time was sheet piling.
Okay, yeah.
So working with the welders and things a lot. And
Yeah.
so we're building a cofferdam down there.
Yeah, cool.
Which was pretty. I mean, it was cool. There was me on the moving barge, and then there was a taller crane, a jack up barge, which doesn't move around. But
yeah, it
was like every day I had to get a boat to my crane.
That's so
and it
cool,
was
isn't it? Sailing to work.
You think it's gonna be really cool. When I turned up and they send you on a river survival course, and you're like, okay, river survival, fine.
Yeah.
And then they're like, if you fall in the water, you'll die, and you're like, oh shit, like. Just
because the Thames is savage.
The Thames is savage. So the Thames is so fast flowing. What you don't realise is you don't just like fall in and go, oh help me, and you kind of stay in one place.
Yeah,
it'll just take you. So if you fall in, you have to try and grab something as quick as possible, or grab something en route to hold on to, because you'll just be 10 miles down the river before you know it, and it's freezing.
Yeah.
So they kind of teach you that don't fall in, and if you do, this is what you do.
There was the one that guy. It was there's a murderer, wasn't there, in London last year, and he jumped in the river. I think killed himself. And he washed up later on. But they were like, the Charlie come up there. He was like, if he's on the water, then there's a high percentage chance he's dead. And he was like, just from even if he survives it, like the jump in, then he said that the water's got him. It's got him. I didn't realise how bad, dangerous.
Yeah,
it is.
and you just and when you get the boat out there in the morning, and all the guys would go up onto the jack up barge, and there's like this kind of rope rope ladder that's kind of swinging around, and the boat kind of pulls up against it, and it's going. And the water's going under. That's a really good.
How's it go?
It's a quality impression.
I've seen them once.
It's got like this. The water's just going like this, and the ladder's going like this, and I'm going. I just went. I'm not climbing up there.
Yeah.
I said I'm not climbing up there. I said you're gonna have to go and drop me at my barge, because I'm not climbing up there. Because they drop you up the jack up barge. Yeah. And then lift you over to your barge.
Is this still in place now with Tideway, or is it kind of?
No, I think they're all kind of they're coming to an end. They've been putting posts out that the sewer system it's finished. So I think there's people still doing bits and bobs and making it look all pretty and stuff like that. But I think the sewer system itself is all in place. I mean, it's a hell of a project. It's
I'm quite fascinated by it. It doesn't from one end. From west to east, it's a natural fall on the whole thing, isn't it? I heard the other day. It's not being pumped through the main channel.
Okay. So
it's a natural fall, and the weight of everything that's going to be in there will just create.
It's clever, isn't it? I mean, it's necessary as well. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, it's crazy how much actually probably is being pumped or has been pumped out in the years, and how dirty that water is.
Yeah, you would.
We worked on a Thames water project once. Deepham's, AMK Deepham's, Acon Murphy's, and Kia. And there was a guy there who's go around testing the water all day, every day, all the different ones, just to make sure certain levels of whatever it's supposed to be are being hit. But it was a sewage farm, basically, and it just stunk full time. And we were there midsummer as well. It was lovely.
Sounds beautiful.
And he said there was this magic red button somewhere, like you can press if it gets too high, or they're in danger if it's going to overflow, or things like Saturday nights, Tottenham football matches as well, because that was nearby. It really fills up when everyone goes for a pee at half time together. It gets a real load of it comes through. And he said then, this was about 7 or 8 years ago, that there's a button they can press in emergencies.
Did he call it a magic button?
It pretty much, I think it was. We're all there sitting like fascinated, like things like Donald Trump with this nuclear button, big red button in the office. And he said that it'd been pushed twice that he knows of.
Oh, okay.
And we were I was like, what happens to that? He said it just goes out somewhere else. God knows where. No one. He didn't really say. He said out at sea, but I don't know how true that is. I'm not sure it meant to Thames, or does it go literally from North London all the way out to Suffolk and out that way? Who knows? But I thought it might just be kind of blagging out, saying it. Didn't really know to take it or not. And then it came out obviously like last year that Thames Water have pumped X amount out in emergencies in the last few years. And I was like, oh, that must be what he was talking
magic
about.
Button
That magic button's been pushed. It has been, and they got fined heavily for it. Didn't they?
Oh, really? Yeah.
We're doing a few things at the moment which related to Thames Water as a client, literally to make sure things are not going to be like that anymore. But crazy times. But so was you only with Select and Liber?
Yeah.
So it was working with Liber? No, Liber supported you since.
No. So Liber, Select by Liber Cranes. They buy Liber crawler cranes is their choice of manufacturer.
Was that all you drove? The Liber ones?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
The ones, and the telescopic ones.
Yep.
They driven to site and then built on site. Am I right?
Well, it depends on the size, but most of them, because the the telescopic, so they kind of come in one.
How's it go?
I'm doing all kind of.
She's got a telescopic arm.
All kind of impressions today. Water, telescopic.
It's like we've got a visual podcast, isn't it? The audio version might be quite the same.
Oh Lord, yeah. I'm very handsy.
Here we go.
Yeah, so 60, so an LCR 1060 would come in one piece. It just kind of the tracks go in. This bit goes in.
Did you drive them to site as well?
No, they get delivered.
Oh, they do get delivered.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I wasn't driving it down the centre
the
of London.
tower crane, have you? What, it just
The mobile would get driven to site, yeah.
Gotcha. So yours is up the size from that?
No. So
Educate me.
So crawler crane is on tracks.
Yep. Okay.
Like, like your diggers and things like that.
Yep.
Big tracks. Mobile crane is on wheels, like a kind of like a base, like a lorry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So that would be driven to
but
site.
you wasn't on tower cranes then? Is that another?
So, well, no, yeah. So when I did my apprenticeship, I did tower cranes, I did crawler cranes, and I did mobile cranes as part of my apprenticeship. So then, following that, when I went to our yard, I worked in tower cranes for a bit, and then I was given the choice: do you want to do towers or crawlers?
Yeah. And did you like the tower cranes?
I like being. It's very peaceful up there.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. Well, not completely. I don't mind a bit of germs, but dust. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, and and people do things up tower cranes.
Oh no,
that I don't like, and 'cause they can't. Some of these tower cranes are very high, and they might not want to come down half an hour climb to go for a wee. So,
is it a thing that people piss in bottles up in the cranes? Then
it is, and it's something that the industry is trying to get away from, and that there are lifts on certain cranes now. But the fact is, if you're climbing for half an hour in the morning to get up a crane and you just need a quick wee, are you going to climb the whole way back down to go for a wee?
Are they thinking of putting a little portaloo at the back of a crane, like you would in the back of a van? And then you just have one big long hose, 4-inch tube.
Yeah.
And it at 200, 300, 400 feet, whatever, and it just flies down. In a little tool. Could that be an invention?
It sounds like another problem.
Should I put together a prototype?
It sounds, maybe you could. I mean, the lift option sounds better.
Yeah.
But yes, possibly you could.
Yeah. I read one report on the tower crane, the guy who done the top of the Shard.
Yeah.
He'd done an article once.
John Young.
Oh, did you know? Yeah,
he worked for Select.
Did he? Super. Because he said it shook when the jet planes used to go over for
terrifying.
For City Airport. And then when I read that, I was like, whoa. So I actually remember, I think I was looking at the ticket myself at the time. I was in and out of hospital at the time thinking, I'm not very mobile myself now. What can I do in terms of just being a little bit more on a machine? And I remember looking at the course, and that's when I think I read the article. Was he like that? Was he there the whole time, was he? That one?
I don't know. No, they would have switched out, but I think he was there for the majority of it. So I remember he did the TV interview and things. We were shown when we joined as apprentices.
Because you've done a bit of BBC stuff, haven't you? All that, not just BBC. You've been on the media. You took a bit of media, haven't you, for it?
Yeah, there's
flying the flag. Well, are you then the first female crane driver in London? Was you? There's plenty out there.
So
no, you fly the flag.
You
are a crane driver.
I wasn't the first female crane operator, but I was the first female lifting technician to go through the apprenticeship.
Cool. And there's been many since. You paved the way.
There was a few, so we did have quite a few. And I remember I'm going to digress again, but one of the girls who joined the company after was Lindsay, a lady called Lindsay, and I had my Instagram up and running and things like that at the time. And I went into a pet shop in a garden centre. I was buying fish. I was big into goldfish at the time.
For your crane,
yeah, I was big into goldfish at the time. So I'm stood there at the desk, and this girl's looking at me, and she says, "Oh, I'm on your Instagram." I was like, "All right." She was like, "Yeah, the cranes, and I would love to be a crane operator."
Yeah.
And it started from there, and now she's been crane operating for years. Tower cranes she went into.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's kind of that.
Still in touch.
Yeah, still talks to Lindsay sometimes. Yeah.
What's it like getting into? So I've sent over a few people who've been before, and I said, "I know someone's got this." It's quite hard to get into, isn't it? Or get your start. Am I right in saying?
It's getting the start that's hard. So. My best advice is, you do an apprenticeship, a company takes you on, they put you through everything, and they give you a job at the end. Yeah. It's got to be the very best way to get into this, because the other route is you go, and as you know, you pay out thousands of pounds for your ticket, you end up with a red ticket, and then how do you get a start? Yeah. That's the single hardest thing, is getting a start. So a lot of guys go through agencies and get a few hours here and there, try and build up their time, try and get 300 hours below them so they can up their ticket to a blue. Everyone wants a blue ticket operator.
Do they? Yeah.
Nobody wants to take the time to teach random people.
Same as machine drivers.
It's exactly the same. They want the machine driver. They want them there. They want them to be able to do it. So everyone's looking for the blue ticket operator. So being a red ticket operator and just fresh out of 3 weeks course or whatever, it's hard. It's really hard.
He's getting it. So we went up to Scotland last year on a rally with ourselves and on the tools as well. We went up to John O'Groats and back, and we spoke to a few guys up there. And the way they do it in Scotland was everyone in the colleges, apprenticeship side, so like plumbers and electricians and all that stuff, they can't go into that college placement without having a job already. So they have to be an apprentice. So they've got a company there, because some of them were doing. Well, I don't do anything with the colleges now down here because I find it a waste of my time. It is the most literally. I know it's probably not the right thing the industry wants me to say, but I went into 2 colleges and I spoke to these kids who had no interest in construction whatsoever. They were
one construction colleges?
Yeah, in East London.
That's a bit worrying.
Yeah. One of them was working in Wetherspoons on a Wednesday night and a Thursday night and didn't have any other job apart from the 2 days at college he goes to. And then one of the other ones just done nothing. He just went to college for 2 days, done nothing else for the 3 days. And I just and I was trying to work it out. And then they said something like 50% of them won't go through to the 2nd or 3rd year.
It's
and
terrible,
they'll be dropped out. And then the amount will actually go through the 3rd year. But I was like, so out of this room with 20 people, there's probably 1 or 2 who are going to come out of this. And in my head, I was like, these people don't want to be here. Why? And I could tell that because all they were talking about was the amount of knives they're taking off these kids and trouble what's going on in the college.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this doesn't sit right to me. And I could kind of see it in a way where people been just bums on seats and they were getting funding for it in a way. But Scotland just had it all around the other way. It was just like, no, you get your apprenticeship, then we know you're serious, and then we'll put you through it. And their colleges are all full up. And I was like, how cool is this then? But there's got to be there's got to be incentives for the company to take these people on as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there has to be. And there's kind of it's hard. And I mean, if you're looking at machine operators or mechanics and things like that, and I have a lot of meetings with colleges and stuff now. So if you're looking on the mechanical side, the struggle for those guys is technology. Yeah. So they're not getting new engines, they're not getting new parts, and the machines are evolving all the time. I mean, you've got electric machines now that are doing the job. So they're not getting the technology to teach the but to teach the growing adults enough to come out the other end and be ready for work. I think that's the hardest bit. So there's a real divide between kind of, your big companies, your big manufacturers and the colleges where it's not a two-way street. And I think that's where they do struggle a little bit. Yeah,
for sure. You can see that. Because I think Flannery's do it. The HS2 stuff at Balfour's, they had it all there, didn't they? Because the yard is pretty much on the project. Yeah. And you can do it.
And that's the thing. So it takes companies, and it does take companies like Flannery. And I know JCB grow their own and things like that, which is, but then it leaves the colleges in a little bit of a place where they're kind of in a bit of limbo and they're not getting what they need to support the kids that they've got. Yeah.
I can imagine that's all round, isn't it? Every single trade route, isn't it? Yeah. And it's struggling. Apprenticeship, they look at changing the qualification stuff on that. I noticed the other day for maths and English, wasn't it? So you can get in. But I think it was over 18 still, wasn't it? So you don't have to have a GCSE to be able to do an apprenticeship.
I mean, even when I did my crane operating apprenticeship, they put us through maths and English.
Did they?
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? It was I think a lot of it was just to test that your basic capability of maths and English had to be up to a certain level, so they had to put you through. Yeah. Because obviously I was a bit older, so I didn't turn up my GCSEs and go, here you go, have a look at those. Yeah. So you've still got to test you.
I didn't have any to turn up with. That's what I've been now, absolutely nothing. But you just think, why?
I mean, I'd been at university. I was doing English literature, but I like to think mine was a fairly good standard.
English literature, university.
Yeah.
And then you end up in dust.
In dust.
Yeah. So what made that change? Yeah, what was your first step into construction? Why? When?
Why? Oh, yeah. I mean, this is
before in the working career, was it straight out of uni into a crane?
No. So, while I was at university, I was working in Phones for You.
Yeah.
Which Phones for You?
That part of it.
I still remember the script.
It's not there anymore, is it?
No, it doesn't exist. But I still remember the sales script and everything for that one. But so I was working in Phones for You, selling mobile phones. And when I dropped out of uni, which I did do after 2 years, much to the disappointment of
what uni?
Everyone, East London University. Much to everyone's disappointment, I just carried on working in the phone shop. Eventually, I moved to T-Mobile, moved across, assistant manager, T-Mobile.
Just not.
And
It's still going to T-Mobile.
yeah,
isn't it?
well,
Is
the
it
EE
still-
now, aren't
EE,
they?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of fell into this cycle of sales,
Mm.
and which wasn't the best thing. And then I worked for the news shop and newspaper, did the births, deaths, and marriages page, and went into advertising sales. Model Engineers Workshop was one of them. It's not naked men on tanks like my friend thought. It's definitely not. It's kind of like little models. And eventually, anyway, after a Superbike magazine I worked on doing advertising, I got sacked from that one.
You can't get over that. Superbike one that you got sacked for it.
I got sacked. I don't get sacked very often, but I did get the sack.
For?
For nothing. Just not being very good, probably. Just wasn't a very good salesperson. And I remember she waited until everyone went out to lunch. And then she came in and she was like, right, get your stuff. And they escorted me out the building.
Superb.
It was
Just go.
just go. Everyone had gone to lunch, so I couldn't even say bye to everyone. It was
Superb.
like they escorted me out the building. So I was meeting my friend for lunch, and I'd left there with like my bag of stuff and my sea monkeys. I had sea monkeys on my desk as well, so I'm like carrying these sea monkeys into Wimpy.
So the pet sea monkey thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
carried them into Wimpy, like sat there just crying, eating me bender in a bun.
Sea monkeys, jobless.
No job. Sea monkeys, my mates there. Yeah, sorry, I digress again. Yes,
No, I'm seeing I'm liking it. I'm trying to visage the picture. I'm actually picturing you look out the window. There's a crane there, and you just go.
No, we're not even there yet. This story,
that's me.
this story's got much more legs than this.
So we're looking at a Netflix series
Do
rather
we
than a
look-
movie.
Join in for episode 2. I'll tell you about my next. So then I worked on a website advertising sales for a guy called Tony Saville. Interesting guy, very rich.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, we've never employed anyone without a degree before. Like, I don't know how this is going to go."
But you've got sea monkeys.
He sacked me as well.
Oh,
No, he didn't. He made me leave.
yeah, push, force the jumps. I did, yeah.
He didn't.
Push.
He didn't sack me. He pushed me to the point where I had to hand in my notice. And then when it was really interesting. So I handed in my notice. I hope Tony doesn't watch this. I like Tony. He's a very nice guy. But I handed in my notice, and I was like a bit sore about it. Wrote him a letter, left it on his desk, and then he called me in, and he started crying. Like, I've never had anyone crying. I'm thinking, but you're making me go. But he was crying.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I thought, that's really nice. I think he liked me.
It was a business decision, not a
It
personal
was a business
decision.
decision, not a personal decision. But he gave me like loads of time to find a new job and everything. He was very nice about the whole thing. So, yeah, go on, Tony.
Up the tone.
Up the Tony. And then after that, I went into recruitment. I worked in trades and labour recruitment.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So this is where it started. So I was working for Hayes, very big recruitment company.
Yes.
I was putting out, painters, plasterers, brickies,
Yeah.
you name it.
Proper trades.
Proper. I was blue collar trades.
Yeah.
That was
Salt of the
my
earth.
section. Making 50p off the guy.
Yeah, lovely. Send him through
50p an hour.
Send him through for one job.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
perfect.
Yeah, that was me. No, yeah. I had some really good guys, and I like to think I tried to look after. The problem was I wasn't that bothered about the money.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a tough, hard. This is probably why I failed in sales for the whole time,
Oh,
because
you
I
sort of preachers of the choir.
I just didn't care. I like people too much,
Yep.
and I couldn't do the labourers out of this much money, and so I'd make minimal margins because I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I'd try and keep the same guys. I'd try and get them on good jobs, and I'd just try and look after them. So anyway, I was in Hayes, and I was doing mediocre. Again, I think they just liked me. I do quite well. People just like me. And eventually, I changed to another company in Dartford, First Step Solutions, and it was a really nice recruitment job. Still doing trades and labour recruitment. I thought, this is lovely, this. But in the meantime, I'd kind of sent out a load of CVs thinking, could I work in construction?
Mm-hmm.
So what would
Something
I...
about it you fancied?
Well, money.
Yeah.
I fancied the money.
To
be honest, and that was what drove my decision. I fancied getting paid a little bit more money.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I haven't got the qualifications. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I haven't got any tickets. I haven't got any experience. But would someone give me a chance to do something?
Yeah.
I was obviously no good at sales.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it, and I just really needed a change. At that point, I just needed a change.
And you can see firsthand the money what's been paid out.
I could see that these people were earning so much more money than I was earning.
There's a need for them, yeah.
And there was a need for them, and I was getting all these calls all the time asking for painters, decorators, whatever, plasterers, and I thought I'll send out my CV, and maybe somebody will pick it up and give me an offer. So then one night I was driving home from work, and I got a phone call. It said, it's Lang O'Rourke. We got your CV. We've got a lifting technician apprenticeship starting. How do you feel about being a crane operator?
Oh, superb.
And I said, can you email it through? I'll ring you back. I'm just driving, like I got into my house, and I said, Dad, Lang O'Rourke rang me up. He said, they want a few guys, for recruitment. They want a few guys on site. I said, no. I said, he asked me if I wanted to be a crane operator. Yeah. He was stood over at the sink, and he was doing a bit of washing up, and he just stopped what he was doing. He just turned around. He said, "Did you tell him to fuck off?"
Superb.
Just really dead.
What did your dad do for a living?
My dad's a bricklayer. My dad's a fifth generation bricklayer. So he just said, "Did you tell him to F off?" And I said, "No, I didn't do that." I said, I told him to send it through and I'd have a look, and then I kind of just put that to bed. And I thought, well, what if I go to the interview?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't know any female crane operators. I don't know any crane operators, but I'll either be really good at it or be really bad at it. Yeah. But if I don't try, I don't know. To me, it was someone handing me an opportunity to do something different. So
nothing ventured, nothing gained, sort of thing. What was that saying?
Yeah, close enough. I turned up to this interview. I was at work, so I said, I've got a meeting at Lang O'Rourke. Got a really important meeting.
Clients.
Lang O'Rourke. Turned up in this little dress and shoes, as you do when you work in recruitment. Although it's hard to envision it now, but yeah. And there was just a load of men
there. Did you have
there.
a different walk when you worked in recruitment? It was a bit more strutting it. Bit of a Wolf of Wall Street. They got to change to a crane operator.
Have you seen my walk? They will take a piss out of my walk. Yeah, they do, yeah. It's another story there. So in my walk, yeah. So yeah, it was loads of men there anyway at this interview, and I thought, there's no chance I got this. There's no chance in hell that they're going to give me this job. But I thought I'll go through it anyway. I went through the rigmarole, did psychometric testing. Okay, yeah, did psychometric testing to be a crane operator. And
explain psychometric testing.
Oh, it's like all maths questions and like kind of like geometric shapes and kind of things like that. I had to sit down and kind of do it all, and then I had to build this tower out of bits that they gave you to resemble this thing, and then we had to work as a team. And I kind of left there, and I put it to bed. I didn't even tell anyone I went for this interview. Yeah, because I just thought there's no chance. And then I left, and I didn't think anything else about it. And then they rang me the week after, and they said, "We were really impressed with you. We'd like you to start as a crane operator. How do you feel about that?" And the first thing I said was, "It's not because I was the only woman, is it?" The very first thing I said, I was the only woman there. And I thought, maybe they're just handing me this.
Does it feel like that for a woman with opportunities they come along?
It did.
It'd be wrong for me to
it did feel to me at that time, because I was the only woman. I kind of felt maybe they're just giving it to, and he was lovely. He said, no, it's not that at all. We really liked you. You showed really good in the tests, and we could see you going into management in the future. Yep. It wasn't anything to do with that.
You've kind of proved it now, haven't you?
If you were shite, we wouldn't have took you on. And I thought, and at that moment I thought, do I do this? Yeah. Do I go and do it? And I went back and I said, I tell people I went for an interview and I've been offered a job. I went for an interview and I've been offered a job, and I had my
Was it a long apprenticeship?
No, they're not very long. And my dad was a bit shocked. Nobody wanted me to do it, which is So my partner at the time was he did piling, and he said, "Oh, you won't like it, all this, like, you won't like it. It's full of scaffolders, Your dad's like, it'll be dirty. You won't like it. You can't have your nails done. You can't have this done, and all this." And I thought, do you know what? Stuff it. Let's just go. We're going to do it. Yeah. Someone's.
Well, then you got to prove a point then as well, haven't you? You've got the bit between your teeth.
That's me. Yeah. Katie, prove a point, Kelleher. Why'd you become a crane operator to prove a point?
It works. Well, it makes you hungry, doesn't it, for it?
It does, because you kind of think, well, you don't know me, you people. Like, I can do this. Stuff it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. It stands for so much in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you have been, without just saying it, because you are a person in construction, but you've literally flew the flag for the women in construction, haven't you, across the board, really. But you've seen it firsthand as well, aren't you, off the ground?
Yeah. It's a different insight.
Is it welcoming for you in your role?
Mate.
I know we've had some stories
My
over the
first day was horrendous, but it's hard. It's hard. And I think, look, I think we have got better, and these big sites do tend to do things pretty well, you know, your big projects. And, I think your house builders and your smaller SMEs struggle a little bit on that side, and there's not as much training around how to deal with women.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be that fucking hard, but you should just deal with people. People are people.
We're still in training.
Yeah. I'll give you a session afterwards, lads. Yeah, I think it can still be really hard. I know. Look, I've got a friend who plant operator turned up on site about a month ago, 2 months ago. First thing he did, the guy turned around and said, "Look, I don't want you here. Don't want a women operating plant on site." That was it. She said, "Hold up, you haven't even seen me operate."
Yeah, just straight in there with it.
Straight in, you know, and you think.
Because I look at it as in anyone's worth. I know it's easy for me to say, but anyone's worth a sort if they're willing to do the job, isn't it? Really, it's like even the apprentice. He's going to get some stick, or she's going to get some stick when they literally first come in because they are unexperienced, learning the ropes, and going to have to get up to scratch with it. But you can't. Yeah, I suppose in a way, and it's for that person who's in that stage of they've just come in to go, fuck it, now I'm going to prove you wrong, isn't it?
It is, but it shouldn't be like
it
that.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be that much of a fight.
Even for the guys though, as well,
isn't
it? You've got to prove yourself. Yeah, it is literally that, isn't it?
Thing.
Yeah,
it is, and you know, and then I read comments on a lot of groups on Facebook, you know, on Tools group and Women on the Tools, and there's always that, well, they're just a snowflake, they're not cut out for it. It's that kind of thing that you have to be double hard and double, you know, slip your shoulders to work in construction to get through a day's work. And
I find, you may have an opinion as well, but the big projects as well, or probably not such the big projects, they probably can cater for a little bit, but a lot of the jobs with main contractors, there's too much pressure within the program to be able to facilitate the time to help these people come in and learn on the job, isn't there? In a way, we've seen it firsthand on the project we're on, but we can't have anyone unless they are 100% up to scratch on day one.
There's no allowance.
There's no. There's not. We've not been told that there is or there isn't, but we know just because we're there supplying them a few men and supporting them with the ground workers and the machine operators that we've got. That if we've got someone who's only 50% of the way on their job or not quite confident in the bucket as others, they'll be down the road in no time because it's like push comes to shove. It's like possession work in the railway in a way. It's like literally, no, we've got 12 hours here. You need to be ready to go, and it's hard, isn't it? I drive machines, so I've got machine tickets and stuff, but it's just I'm not a out and out machine driver, but you can stick me on a stockpile and I'll do a job. But I'm just you just won't have me digging around big gas mains.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
I pulled the electric out my own house last summer.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't need that.
No. But that's what we're finding now. We've actually spoken to should the apprenticeships actually for the machine operating stuff, should that actually be put directly in the hands of the main contractor?
And it usually is.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when I was with Select, obviously I worked on Crossrail as an apprentice.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant. They were really good.
Yeah.
Really, we had there was me. There was another apprentice called Luke on the crawler cranes, and we had some more established people looking after us, letting us in. Then up the tower crane, they had apprentices up there as well. And then I started getting apprentices from Select to come to me on Crossrail to teach them how to operate the crane.
Yeah.
And what it was like. So they were really good. And Tideway were really good as well. I think these big projects, they see the benefit in apprentices. Yeah. And look, we all know they have quotas and things like that as well. Yeah. And you turn up for these events. We've had 500 apprentices on site and they love that and they thrive off that. But you're right, where you suffer with it is with the SMEs, where you're brought in to do a job. Yeah. And you need it done and you've got a timeline and they don't want you faffing around and taking time and I don't know the answer. But yeah.
With your role at CPA then, you've got a good insight in seeing all this from another level, aren't you, really?
Yes.
Is there enough crane operators, machine operators?
There's not enough of anything.
No.
There's not enough of anything.
We've got to build 35 million houses in the next 6 weeks.
We're in a real pickle at the moment, and
the industry as a whole.
The industry as a whole, we're in we're in a real pickle with regards to skills and apprenticeships and pushing people forwards. We've got an aging workforce. You know, your bricklayers are all pretty aging now. You know. Who are falling out, who they're losing those skills. So you're losing the people that these new people would turn to and go, how do I do this? Or what do I do here? Or how do I make that look better?
Yeah.
You know, so these people won't be there anymore.
Yep.
So we're bringing people into places where they aren't maybe as supported as they would have been maybe 5, 6, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're also struggling to bring them in. For me, I think, you know, I did an article about it the other day for Plant Planet, and it was a bit strong, I suppose. But we've got to look at retention for people. We're not retaining.
Yes, I love this one. That's one that's sharpened little light bulb in my head when I read that one.
We've got to look at retention for people. I mean, we're talking about women in construction. I read the other day that the numbers of women in destruction, women in destruction, women in construction have declined once again. So how the hell have they declined once again? I think we were only at about 18% anyway, including, you know, women white collar, blue collar, cleaners. Women in trades only made up about 2% of that, including cleaners on site. So
really,
So it was a very small number. So now they're saying this. I mean, I don't know where these. I'd love to know where these stats was pulled from, but it's declined again. So despite everyone's efforts of pushing people in, the numbers have still gone down.
Yeah.
And for me, the main reason for that is because we can't keep people. So we can push as many people in as we want, but we're not set up to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
The industry isn't as good as it should be with looking after, you know, diverse individuals, people with disabilities, women. We're not set up for that, but we're not keeping men either. It's not. We're not keeping anyone. I'd like to say, you know, it's just the women. And
that's why I like that article so much when you put it out. That really stuck in my head because it was kind of like, I think this. I read it. You put it in better words than me. Must be your 2 years at university in English literature against my did not attend GCSE. I was like, this is what I'm trying to say for so long is how can we keep on bringing people into construction? And I actually had it in terms of inspiring the next generation. We've done a few things over the years about getting youngsters in. I was like, how can we keep on bringing people into an industry? And I look at it in my own sense of I've got 2 kids, a boy and a girl, son and daughter, 6 and 3. I want them both to come into a cool industry where they can enjoy life and enjoy it. And if that's construction, brilliant. But I'm like, would I want them coming into an industry now where I'm trying to say, promote as much as I can? Dad's out work promoting this industry all the time. Okay, if I walk in the doors of the industry, there's a high chance I'm going to kill myself. I'm like, do I want that for my kids? It's like, no, not at all. Quite clearly. I was like, so how are we not focusing on what's going on inside and letting that promote itself to the next generation instead of going out there going, kids, come in. It's like, sort your own shit out first in a way, isn't it? And like then if we look good and we're doing really well, people will naturally start coming to us, is what I'd like to hope.
No, and that's and I think that's the way it has to go. And I call it fixing the fundamentals. They're not. A lot of these things aren't big things.
But they've been spoken about for so long that we're doing. No, they're not, are they?
They're not large things.
Yeah, and we get it with a few events, and we're really pushing it at the moment. And we've just sent an email this morning actually saying about it. But people will say to us, we'll be doing an event to promote and share what we are doing on behalf of mental health in construction and preventing suicide in the sector. And then there'll be someone goes, sorry, I can't actually attend to it, and they say I take it as annual leave because the company. But I can only come if I take a day off as annual leave because the company won't support me doing it. And we're losing loads of people from events because of that. They sign up, want to be part of something, and so I can't go because my company won't do it.
That's
and I don't want to do a day's annual leave on it. And I literally say to them, okay, no worries, no stress. And then we write back to the companies and go, this is the problem. So these people are coming here to support in a way where their company is supporting their well-being by sending them to do something.
Yes.
But you're saying to the company, nothing to do on that day. They've got to take it as a day's holiday. But it's a huge marketing tool for them as well to showcase what they're doing for their staff. And banging me against the wall.
I think that's really short-sighted. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I'm very lucky to work with companies that let me
Yeah.
go into schools and talk to people and sit on panels. And
you've got to. We've done it with Crossrail. So we did. The boys were in there 8 years ago when I was on Crossrail on the. I was between Shenfield and Stratford, so on the overhead side. And they said, yeah, everyone gets 2 days off. So we had 3 days booked in. And it was like, so what do we do at the third day? I just said to everyone, just keep your mouth shut. And we did it. And guess what? The company loved it at the end of it.
Yeah,
the directors were on the phone thanking us. We got put forward for a few to attend a few evenings on behalf of Costain and the project. And they were all lapped it up massively then. And we're like, oh, this is great to be part of. I was like, yeah, well, it's begging for forgiveness, not permission sort of thing. And that's when it was like, look, can you see these 5 people have just done this walk?
Yeah.
And it's gone on to this construction media outlet, and these guys are promoting it. And look, all of them being told, these 5 guys who work on Crossrail, Costains, blah, 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 it's all been lapped up under that banner. And like, look, this looks good. And that's what the military do with all the regimental stuff and all the army stuff that we always say we're not involved in the army, but when taking what they're doing as a real learning template. And why can't we do this? It's cool, isn't it? But banging the drum and trying to make it fix it all, really, isn't it?
It is. No, you know what? That's really sad because that is really short-sighted, and I think
staff retention is huge, isn't it? The company's looking after you. Yeah. It has
to be. Look, if we can fix these fundamentals of why people are leaving, so whatever that reasoning is, lack of flexibility, huge one for men and women. So women, okay, we know women sometimes have children, they choose to. Sometimes they don't choose to. Sometimes these things happen. So women usually have the children in the relationship, and then they need time to be pregnant, to have children, to look after children, and drop them off at school, pick them up, do various things, as do men. But if we're saying, okay, you've done this trade for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, doing whatever you do, and you've become really good at it, but now you've had a child, you're not very useful to us. Yeah. And how are they not useful? Can we be a bit more flexible? Can they do part day, half day, share? So you're still getting them skills and talents. You're still retaining
skill and talents there, isn't it?
You're not having to retrain somebody from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, you mightn't have them quite as long as you maybe used to have them.
Yeah.
But people's lives change. Men and women's lives change throughout their careers. So some people have children. Some people have parents who fall sick. Some people fall sick themselves. Some people have partners that fall sick. People have things that they need to do where their life changes, where they can't give a job 12, 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they don't want that job. And it doesn't mean that they want to forget all the skills and my dad's a fantastic bricklayer, really good craftsman, 5th generation bricklayer, can do anything with bricks. But if you're throwing these people away with all these skills for something which you can work around or possibly work towards, it's just for me, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's outside of construction, but we've got a very good friend of mine, and she's currently going back to work, and she wants to go back part time, and she's one of only 2 people at this level, what she is in her part of the NHS, and they're saying to her, no, the role's actually only full time. And you can't have it part time, and there's no flexibility of it as well. And that's why I've been looking there, thinking at the last week actually. With
it's everywhere, savage, isn't it? It's just everywhere. It's everywhere.
But there is, and there's like an RTG group saying that, of the rail side of it. I spoke to them, Wayne there, and he said a few years ago, he said they're actually actively recruiting part time mums, like mums now with young children.
Yeah.
And he said, and because they've realised, there's levels of skills and qualities they've got, to see if they can come in, that there's a day, we'll get them on 2 days a week, and we can work around it. Because people are highly qualified, but the days of going to work Monday to Friday, I suppose 9 till 5 in an office environment have changed massively, haven't they? I know Leanne and Katie work with us. Leanne runs on the groundwork side, and Katie's now running the charity side of it behind the scenes. But they're both on. They're both pretty much they're part-time, but they're always there.
Okay. Part-time, full-time.
Slave labour, basically. But they literally are. Katie works from home. Katie works from home a few days, comes in here, but they're always on the phone, and that's all I ask from them. Like, can we just be on the phone? And that is literally, I'll be getting messages at 8 o'clock at night. Steve, I just got the kids to bed, but by the way, just catching up on this.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Even a Saturday pop-up. I know everyone doesn't like it that way, but it's perfect. But then I'm never there at 9 o'clock. Are you in yet? Are you in yet? You should be logged on there. I'm like, no. And they know, and even the boys know this as well, and even the groundwork side, when push comes to shove, I need you to turn up sort of thing. And I think it's two-way street, isn't it? If you can give people that respect,
it is.
and you get it back. We had a few cases where you think, Anna said, these little fuckers ain't showing
It's
it
not
back.
working,
Yeah. We'll turn the screw a little bit. And then, then mental health goes out the window. People get shown the road.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's just understanding. It's understanding the workforce a little bit better. And we know, I mean, you know, there tends to be a bit of a workforce office divide as well in the way that
you can't bricklay from home.
Well, not even just that. It's just, look, the workforce is there to do a job. Like you said, a bit like when you're talking about the apprentices, you're there to do a job. You've got a certain amount of time to do it in. There's budgets and stuff like this. So sometimes they don't see past that in order to understand people as people and to understand a bit more holistically what people need. Yeah. And it's just really, to me, it's just really short-sighted. And I just think we can do a lot better for people.
The studies come back as well. I can't remember where these studies are. I'm not making up, I promise, but I've heard it. That when you actually look at what people want from their workplace, I think money's at 4th or 5th down the chain as well. And everyone goes, oh, no, I'm all about the money. It's the cash what
70
talks.
hours.
Money speaks and all this. I want it all. But actually, when they look at it, when you look at the actual statistics, it all come back. It's up there. It's just, company actually gives a shit about them or supports them, gives them a flexibility or able to do this or do that. And then with like I say, I had plenty of it. And you think, people, like I say, you'll probably see it in the blue collar world as well, where it was people run down the road for an extra £1 a day.
Yes.
And then realise they've got to pay £2 extra to go there.
They go to visit, yeah.
It's easy for us on the outside, guys. That's negative.
Yeah.
You're going to lose loads of people. Is it as bad? Do you have much time with CITB?
We do.
CSCS?
We do have a lot. We do have a lot of time. We do work quite closely with CSCS.
Yeah.
We do work closely with the carding and the tickets, especially in certain areas. So as the lead AP group, which I head up, so we work very closely with how the AP standards look, and we're on the CITB working groups for the AP standards and the slinger signaller and crane supervisor and things like that. So we do work very closely to try and get what we need as an industry out of it. So we were also working on the lifting technician apprenticeship randomly, which is the one I did. Cool. So we were working to change that and make sure that's still relevant.
Is there a level of, I suppose it is going easy on it to make sure people do come in, but then at the same level having that level of health and safety to it?
Oh, you have to. You have to. And look,
there's no blagging it in that world, is there?
There's no, you can't in plant and in lifting, you can't blag it. It has to be a qualification that's up to standards. But on the other side of it, we've got to realise that just because people have tickets doesn't necessarily make them competent. It makes they've passed the ticket, great, they've done a few weeks, whatever they've done, but they don't come out the end fully competent. And that's where it's for employers to pick it up. They have to. You have to teach these people the skills you need in the workforce. They're not going to come out for CSCS cards.
These tickets should be through a company then, really shouldn't, like the apprenticeship side. People should go through that, not just going online and getting themselves a ticket.
We shouldn't do that anyway. There's a lot of dodgy tickets out there, isn't there?
Isn't there just? Every day on
There's a lot of dodgy
every day
tickets.
on Instagram we get a pop-up
It's
account
wrong,
comes
it?
up. Do you want this ticket?
It's scary.
Oh, it's terrifying, isn't it? When you think what is actually, who's operating the industry, but then who do you blame, really, isn't it? That's the thing.
But then you've got to push it back on employers, and it's down to the employers to qualify that person correctly. Yeah, they have to. So in lifting, we were
they take responsibility, don't they?
You have to take responsibility. Look, if you've got people working on the end of the hook lifting massive loads, it's up to you to qualify how good they know that job. There's all various places and all different types of lifting that you can do that people might not be qualified for. So the companies tend to have in place almost like a test. Mm-hmm. It's a test. What sling is this? How much does it lift? What this is, and it's not to to fail or pass people. Yeah. But then you know where they're at. Yep. And if you know where people are at, you can teach them the rest. Yeah, for sure. Do you get brought into investigative stuff when things go wrong? Near misses? No, the HSA.
Yeah.
No, I do. I mean, I am privy to a fair bit of information.
But would the CPA or would the CITB, would anything be looked at, say the crane incident?
Yeah.
Langer Rock job, McAlpine job in Reading the other year where the crane operator was saved the the guy on the roof.
Oh yeah.
Would anyone come back to going back on looking at how the system works?
It wouldn't be anything to do with us.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be brought into that. That would be
Yeah.
a kind of HSE.
Yeah, about that one. But you just think of it, it's like go to the people who know how these things work. And if there's an incident at the bottom of the site,
I mean, it's
say
something we
drops,
do.
say there's a fatality or something. Yeah, in my head, it's like, why wouldn't you go to like yourselves? The AP board that you're on, was that one?
The lead AP group.
Yeah. Is that CPA stuff? Is it, or is that
so
industry?
They're independent from the CPA. I mean, I work with them now, so I take up the kind of organising and admin role because it's beneficial for us because we also have the crane interest group, the tower crane interest group. So that's before the hook. This is on the end of the hook.
Yeah.
So it's really beneficial for everyone to work together. But it was set up independently. So Dave Borley, a guy called Dave Borley, who works for Skanska, lead AP for Skanska, worked there. I think it was like 35 years or something. He celebrated the other day. So massive amount of time. But a lot of tier ones on there, a lot of tier twos, a lot of appointed persons. And we do really good work on there. I'm really proud of the work we do on there because we're trying to make things safer for people. So at the moment we're talking about, I won't bore you too much, but we're talking about slinger signaller grading guidance for companies. So slinger signallers, there's varying degrees of what people can do as a slinger signaller, basic lifts. And then you're talking about maybe wind turbines or lifting bridges. And there's a different skill set to all these things. So we're working on a grading system which we can offer to companies, which will allow them to grade and progress their slingers up to, crane supervisor, up to AP, definitely. Which is really good, when we're talking about progression of people.
Yeah, that's literally that, yeah.
And I think, you're going to get your best staff if you look after them, if you talk about progression, if you talk about the next step. How often do people in the workforce talk about their progression, their next step, where they want to go, what they want to do next?
Be proud of it then, can't they?
Exactly.
Whereas I'm just thinking it now. A good groundworker. If someone goes for a groundworker, they just get an experienced labourer. That's pretty much how they do it. Just like, fuck, leave it alone. But you pay double for a decent groundworker if you know he's a crack. You know what I mean? Because you get a decent groundworker know if a machine goes down or a generator busts, he'll be there to he'll know what's going on with that. Where a labourer would stand and go, oh, I don't know what's going on. But it's the level of that. And we get asked, have you got any experienced ground workers or just ground workers? I'm like, you get that question all the time. It's just like, there's no... But yeah, like you say, if it's a grading situation...
But if you had a grading situation, you could say, okay, they're a level 1, they're a level 2, they're a level 3. I mean, it's not... It won't be on the ticket, so it's not a qualification as such. It's
but
not
it could
like
be.
a CS.
It could
in the future. Yeah, in the future, it could be something. I mean, they do it with APs. They've got advanced AP courses. You've got tower crane AP courses. Because different things, again. Crawler cranes are different to tower cranes. Working with these are very different. But if you can offer someone... progression within your company, I think that's a huge step. And as you mentioned earlier, that breeds loyalty.
Yeah, definitely.
How loyal do you feel to a company that's invested in you and progressed you, put you on courses and...
Yeah, and it was. That always got people when I was on the tools as such. If someone said, do you want to come over to us, we'll put you through your dumper ticket. That would take you go straight away for it. Yeah, there's little thing, wicked, they're going to put that into it. Yeah. And you would feel like, I could have been there a year or two, paid off that dumper ticket more than enough. Or 10 times, but you'd go, no, I'm going to stick here because I know if I want a course, I can just let them know and they'll let me go for it. Whereas there's so many companies that won't do that, and we try and do it with all our guys. Get through tickets as much as you can for a bit of for their loyalty.
It is for loyalty.
It does, and it works.
And then you've got your supervisors. You're turning your ground workers into supervisors. And
that's what I'm feeling, finding the right people to put through the supervisors, isn't it? We get quite a lot, and I notice it now. We've noticed it more in the construction work, groundwork side, or just construction in general. There's so many that have been forced through stuff in a way, but groundworkers, but you get a good groundworker and then someone goes, I'll make him a supervisor straight away. It's like, but then he might not have any leadership skills.
He might not want to.
And don't want to. But the only reason, but he's going to take it because his money goes up and he's got more responsibility. Where they wouldn't be like, no, let's give him supervisor's money and keep him on the tools because he's fucking brilliant. Like they wouldn't. They go, no, but he can't have that money because some companies are, and you can see it with the SMEs. Really, they will be quite happily pay them people more money. But I think more probably the agency side of it and the big jobs. You weren't really seeing it. It was like, no, the only way that man can earn some more money is to take the supervisor job. And you'd be like, but then you're losing the person on the ground who knows how to do deep drainage and pipe work or whatever. And he's at the top as a leader and he doesn't know how to lead it. But Yeah, we can fix the industry one day.
So, which area shall we fix first?
Is there anything on the mental health side with drivers? I know you know what I'm like with it all.
I mean, it's the same everywhere, and it's the problem is with driving, especially if I look back at crane operating. And my husband's a crane operator as well, and you're talking getting up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, getting in the crane 7, supposed to be finished at 6.
Yeah,
lorry comes in, you're there till 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's hard. It's really hard, and I think. There's no first one in, exactly that. And there's no allowance with when you're operating plant because everyone needs you. We all need you. It's that kind of thing. So
do us a favour.
Yeah. So if you've got things to do afterwards, which sometimes you do, if you've got things you might need to do or kids you might need to pick up, how do you do that extra 2 hours, that extra hour?
Yeah.
And I think it's a big and I see it in Peter, my husband, and it is hard work. It is hard work. And we're talking about school kids, and I used to go to schools and I say, you can make $1,000 a week, back pocket.
Yeah.
We do 70 hours for it.
If you was missold.
Money, yeah. 70 hours, 70 hours of your time. And if people say to me, do I miss crane operating? I say, miss operating.
Yeah.
Loved it. It's one thing I was actually really good at in my life. Obviously not sales, but it's one thing I was really good at in my life that I really enjoyed. But I don't miss 70 hour weeks every week, and not knowing where I'm going to be home or getting in at 9 o'clock at night, going to bed again just to get up again to go. It's hard.
I was driving out of East London with my family yesterday because we had a day out half term, and we were coming from past Docklands basically on the A13, but going past Billingsgate Fish Market and seeing all the Canary Wharf. JRL got a few buildings going up there, and you've got the core, the concrete core that's gone in, obviously, whatever you called it, and everything's built. I was trying to explain to my wife. She said, is that the actual tower block there? Well, that is, but then they'll build off of that.
Yeah.
And then the cranes were going, everything was moving. And then we were sat in traffic because there's some works there, some construction works holding up the road as well. And then, so we sat there, and she was just like, I just don't see the point. And I was like, no, I just don't see the point. Like, I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
Like, but what you've got there, though, is really cool jobs, some really wicked stuff. I said, but then you just got to be able to take it to the next line of then doing that for 10, 12 hours. Like, it's brilliant. I like driving machines and dig it and doing all this. And if I'm on a good job, you can smash into it. But then, the mindset of them being able to do that 10 hours, 12 hours a day for 5, 6, maybe 7 days a week is another shift in gear, isn't it? And doing that week in, week out.
It's hard. And then, and I even get Peter going, I haven't had lunch today, or they've pushed it. They've pushed it back to, or he'll be on lunch at like 2 o'clock when he's going to have a break at 10 and things like that. I haven't had lunch today, or this has happened, or this has happened. I remember one day he was on site, and the site manager said to him, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to have my lunch," and it was late. I think it was about 1 o'clock, something like that, and he hadn't had a break yet. He's
been on since like 6, 7 o'clock.
It'd been long, and he said, "Where the fuck do you think you're going?" He said, "I'm going to go have my break now." Hold up, no breaks. You don't get back in that machine. He said, "You don't even come in on the weekends and all this." You think, are we not past this? Yeah. We're not past treating people like people. We're still shouting at people and telling them
so many people don't realise that the reason lads will have a good, my world did probably the same job. I'll tea break at 10 and then lunch at 1, something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The amount of people don't realise, no, that's actually that because it's law.
Yeah.
it's
not nice to have.
Yeah. It's like, we'll treat them for 10 o'clock, a little half hour at 10. It's like, no, it's actually the law, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, but it's half hour every 4 hours, and then every 6 have an hour break or something like that, isn't it? It's definitely the law.
It's not nice to have.
Like, this company's so good to me.
Give me half hour.
But the amount of times, but then you do get it, and we've had it on jobs, especially we've done sea defence work, so it's tidal, where it's like, lads, you've got 6 hours on the job here until the tide comes in. Yeah. What do you want to do? Do you want to bust your box out and go through it? Or do you want to have a break in the middle and potentially this going to drag on and we're going to lose stuff? And then all the lads signed up to it, like, we'll bust it, but we'll smash it out. Yeah, you can do it. Different. But then, and there was this, I know they had, and on that project, literally there's a lot of, no, you've got to have a half hour break. And they go, okay then. But the break starts when we walk into that canteen. So we've got to get from our place of work to the canteen, because that was a 15-minute walk. And then you've got to get back again. And then it's an hour lost, and then you've got to start things up again. Yeah. And everyone's in a little bit more cold start again as well themselves, aren't they? And it was just like, this isn't going to work. And then lorries are backed up because no one's been dealing with them for that hour.
Where they need to spend the money and get an extra driver in.
No,
Cover breaks.
Yeah. It all comes down to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have a shift pattern.
Get
It
someone else in
works.
to cover breaks.
Yeah, so they got through it and they've done really well. And the project's been a massive success. But you could see those teething issues in between it. Like, this all comes down to you guys aren't spending enough on staff to allow for this, to keep the stuff. And I think that's especially when you start tying in night shifts and things, isn't it?
And it
The shift pattern stuff of how you can have that overlap. We've done a lot on Crossrail with 12-hour shifts, and then they started doing the 8-hour shifts, 8-6. Yes, it would be 24 hours and 8-6 days. So you have 3 shift patterns.
Okay.
But they were on 10-hour shifts.
Right.
But there was 3, so you've got 30 hours, obviously. But there was an hour each end of overlap as well.
Right.
So people could, in a way, get to 8-hour shifts paid for the 10.
Yeah.
But there was a crossover. But it gave people a little bit of flexibility of, you're not being beasted out there.
People love that though, don't they? You love getting a little something for nothing every now and again.
Definitely.
Just a little something for nothing.
With that as well, especially with the network rail stuff and like the fatigue management, 12-hour, 14-hour door-to-doors and things like that. And when I was hospital, I was speaking with nurses, and this nurse, I always remember, I went to sleep and then woke up in the morning, she was still there, literally working. And I was like, are you on another shift? She went, no, I'm still the same shift. And I was like, what? She went, I'm just got to cover a bit of overtime. But she does 12-hour shifts, and they all do in the NHS world, 12-hour shifts. And I was like, you're putting needles and shit into people. I'm like, I struggle on a railway shift with 12-hour shift. How are you been put this level of what you're doing? I still don't think that world of, and I will put it in, not that I've gone woke or all this kind of stuff, or people don't know how easy it is, but the 12-hour stuff is savage, especially when you've got to drive to and from work, isn't it?
That's it. It's not just the time on site, the time you're getting paid for. It's the 2 hours on the train. It's the 2 hours on the train back, or driving, or wherever you've got to go to.
And modern day life during the day keeps you up, doesn't it? I don't care what anyone says about working nights. You can't get. That's not normal, is it?
No, it is hard.
We're not
it
nocturnal.
Yeah, I remember when Pete was working nights. Every time I saw him, he was like.
Yeah. Well, you are.
What's
you
going
different.
on? Yeah.
It changes who you are, doesn't it? It definitely changes who you are.
Then by the time he just got a little bit used to it, it changed back.
100%. We a bit. Fucking shocking story, really. But I got invited onto a podcast 2 years ago with a guy. Steve, do you want to come in and do this podcast? I won't go through the names now because it's a sad story. But so he said that. Do you want to come on? I went, yeah, I'll do it. And I never got round to booking it in with him. They didn't do too many episodes, and podcasts come and go, as we know. But I spoke to the guys the other day. I said, what happened to your podcast that you was doing? The guys run it. They said, no, he died in a car crash a few weeks ago. And I literally said to him, what is this at Sadler's Farm, the A13 in Essex? Yeah, him. I went, shit. I knew the name. Because it come up. He'd passed away driving home from work after a night shift. And when they said the name, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I know exactly who you mean. I was speaking to him, and I wanted to come on, and he said we wasn't doing the podcast towards the end of it, but literally leaves behind a fiance and children as well, and all this. And you think, and I've knocked it on the head for now, but I know it'll come up again when we will go out doing night shifts. But that last 20 minutes of the journey, you just think, fuck. I'm like, and all you got is lights, and the sun's coming up. So it's not night and it's not day, it's hazy. I stop at Marks and Spencer's. I like eating. It's a passion of mine is to eat. Number one hobby. But I'd just go into the BP just to buy a load of food, just to give me something to eat. To do.
That kind of,
Just, and you got window up, window down, aircon on, aircon off.
I punch my leg.
Yeah.
Not that it helps, just like a nutter.
But everything, aircon. And then you get the life-saving rules. It's like, the network rail ones, but like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, hang on a sec. The amount of times, I think my dad used to do it, ring my mum. London cab driver driving home, we'd ring my mum just to chat, just to get home. Yeah, just to talk. I know lorry drivers who do it with people I know, and they ring people. He said, "Gosh, 6 o'clock at night, the fucker rings me all the time."
Yeah.
He knows he's on the last half hour of his journey, and he literally talks him into the yard. And but it's hard, and it's what can be done? Are you seeing much of the fatigue management from your role at CPA? Is that something? Do they speak about? Is it kind of putting?
I think it's hard. I don't think in plant especially. I'm not sure we are doing enough. And don't get me wrong, look, I get there are guys out there that want to work all the hours that God will send them to make all the money they can. And I get it, I understand it, but there are people out there that don't want that as well. And I think, when we're talking about bringing in other people and making mental health better and doing all this, I think it's really circular. I think all these things are joined up to one thing, definitely joined up to one thing. But there are people that doesn't suit to do that life as well. And why do we want to lose? I just don't understand why we want to lose them instead of being flexible, a little bit flexible.
Yeah.
It's because it falls into the too hard to do box, the too complicated box that we go, okay, how do we do this?
We don't get a short-term answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do this? It just, and you know, you hear it as well. And you read about these schemes like, oh, site goes flexible. But do any of these schemes really, does anything come out at the end of them? I don't think I've heard of a site that's constantly stayed flexible, or a workforce that is flexible, or I haven't heard any of it. And like you said, the stats aren't getting better. The stats on mental health aren't getting better. The stats on women in construction aren't getting better. They're getting worse. So we're failing.
Yeah. We've just demobbed from a job last week, and we'll go back in 3 or 4 weeks because the engineer didn't like the angle of a bit of pipe work. What had to be like that because of where this offset 2 drains are. And he said, no, I want the angle changed. It's okay. I said, you're about, it'd be good for you to come down and see it. And so we explained, no, I just don't want it. I don't want it like that. It's got to change. So not willing to be flexible with that, working from home, not on site to see it. And I'm like, if you could be here, we can explain it and why. No, he's not working for our client. He's from the management engineering side of it. I went, okay, no worries. I said, so we're going to go with what you're saying, what you prefer, not what the standards say you have to have, because what we've done is absolutely fine. Just because he would prefer it to look like this.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, brilliant. Okay, I'll hire two machines, pack site up again, tell the lads we're not on that site for another 2 weeks. We put them elsewhere, but I'm like, that could have cost us a few guys. And we've demobbed completely from site and we've abandoned it and walked away from this. And there's a massive excavation in the middle of London at the moment. What is 3 meters deep? What's just got some fencing around it and all this kind of barrier systems for the next 3 weeks. All because this one engineer wants 2 different collars on a bit of pipe work. He wants to go from 22.5 degrees from 45s. And it was just like, you're not really seeing this. But you've got flexible working at home in a way. And I get that. I said, but we do need you on site every now and then. You just pop down. There's a McDonald's next door to the site. We can literally buy you a coffee. And I just need you for 5 minutes to run your eyes over. Because I know if he was there,
it'd just make more sense.
With my high-level sales career.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'd just literally go, look, please just see what we're saying. And then you can see it. And then you'll realise, oh, there's not actually any difference. I'm not very good at explaining over a phone. And that's why, on the ground, I find it frustrating with flexible working with people from home. I'd be like, I just fucking need you here. Can you just come here so I can show you something? It'll make my life easier.
Can you just please make my life easier? Yeah.
What's on the horizon? What's coming this year? Exhibitions coming up?
Yeah, I mean, as a CPA, we do quite a few exhibitions.
See you last week at one?
Well, you did, yeah. Executive Hire Show. We've got Plant Works.
Yeah,
I want to say Plant Works
with an X, isn't it?
Plant Works. We've got Hillhead. I'd imagine it's Hillhead next year. We do Hillhead as well.
Yeah, every 2 years. Is it, that one?
I think so. I think so. That was my first one I did last year. Would have been in the quarry. What else do we do? We've got quite a few on the old horizon. We've got we usually do a conference, but we're not doing a conference this year. We're doing it next year. We've got our Apprenticeship Awards.
Well, hey!
Yeah, a big one. So Stars of the Future.
Yeah.
Which looks at apprentices who work in plant hire. So if anyone is listening and has any fantastic apprentices they want to put forward, you absolutely should. It's a really, and I'm not just saying this because before I worked for the CPA, I used to judge this award.
Yeah.
And it was something that I did working for my old company. Yeah. It's a really worthwhile award.
I spoke to Andy. He went down there last year too, didn't he?
Yes,
and he actually come out. Yeah, fair play. He was loving it. He said, "What a buzz! Why? Yeah, this needs to be pushed and pushed and pushed for the sector."
It's really good. Look, what you're doing is
mums and dads come along. Everything.
You get the colleges that come along. They can bring their parents along, or girlfriends, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just recognising talent. So all it is a company recognising the great people who they've got working for them and putting them forward. And what a buzz to be put forward as an apprentice for an award for, a young plant operator of the year or plant operator of the year or something, anything, any of our awards. And then we've got great prizes. So sometimes they go to Liebherr factories to look around the Liebherr cranes. They go to Wolfcran in Berlin, Liebherr in Germany. Get iPads, you get vouchers. They get.
How long are these apprenticeships that they're doing? It could be any apprenticeship.
Depends.
It depends.
So
the plant, obviously.
Yeah, it depends. It depends what they're doing. So the plant mechanic apprenticeships be 2 years, 3 years. You can look quite long term for these ones. When you're a plant operator, they don't tend to be quite as long. The MVQ takes a long time.
Yep.
It might be 2 years for the MVQ, but in terms of training on in the college, I think when I went to college, I was only there about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time you're doing your MVQ while you're on
the
site.
The thing is, like you've proven as well, isn't it? Doing your apprenticeship, getting your ticket, becoming that operator doesn't mean that's you for life. That means you're on a pathway of now going. There's so much more you can do beyond that with construction as well, isn't it?
I think as an industry, we're really good at that.
Yeah.
Look, I know we've talked quite negatively.
We need to be.
Yeah.
There's no one to fill these roles, but it's good. Yeah.
Well, I think as an industry, we're really good at that. I think we are good at opening doors and giving people possibilities. And, there's so many. I mean, I interviewed Andy Mitchell from Tideway. So CEO of Tideway, started as an apprentice.
Yeah.
So I think
you're on paper, you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I truly believe that as an industry, we're really good at letting people grow. And when people show when people show hard work, when people show a real attribute for doing something very well, we're like, okay, let's make my supervisor. Okay, let's do this. Maybe they could be an AP because we're trying to fill roles all the time as well. So if we can grow our own people, then fantastic. And it is something we do well.
Do you get any from the apprentice where you've got people who were just a ground worker and then you just say that because I've had
just a ground worker,
don't worry, we've had this in the past. When someone's asked us to do something, go above and beyond from it, no, I can't. I'm just a ground worker. Yeah, I've used that massively.
Yeah, I used to say that. I'm just a crane operator.
Yeah. But then they've gone and got an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Whilst in, say, a crane driver, then a ground worker then goes, I want to become a plant or machine, a digger driver. Would you say there's apprenticeships for them as well still? Or is it all about it's upskilling the people in our industry again, I suppose, isn't it, rather than getting the new ones in?
Yeah, so it depends how you want to do it, I think. And sometimes companies will offer this. And they'll offer training. So like you mentioned Flannery's, and they've got their skills hub with Balfour Beatty and things like that. And they're doing really well down there. They're doing a lot of good stuff.
And they'll set up for Lower Thames Crossing, aren't they? I think with Kelleher's in Kent.
Okay.
With a similar kind of setup, I think they're doing.
And I
can imagine only Sizewell will need that as well.
Because it's dedicated. It's a dedicated area where people can learn and they can grow their own people into other things. So it works fantastically. And then you do get apprenticeships in. I mean, there's a lot of plant mechanic apprenticeships and things like, which I think are a really good way to go if you've got the years and you want to put them in there and you want to learn something like that. But it's a hard job as well. And I get it. Not everyone wants to do these kind of hard jobs that keeps you out the house for 14 hours a day. But
it's the needs. Balmer, you're going Balmer.
I am going Balmer. Yeah,
Germany.
Buzzing.
Good
Can't
one.
wait. It's massive.
Yeah,
massive show.
Next 2 years time, every 2 years again, isn't it, that one?
I think it is 2 years. Yeah,
I
was at the last one, but yeah, massive. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and Peter's over there, I suppose. And Peter Haddock will be well involved with that.
Peter Haddock will be there. Peter Haddock will definitely be there, and Lucas Haddock.
Yeah, he's doing well. Apprenticeship, isn't he? He's doing
fantastic.
Yeah,
Lucas is doing really, really good. And I've done quite a few bits with Lucas videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he's just a copy of his father. He's another professional, just cracking on with it.
It's so good, isn't it? See, well, he just proves the pudding in the apprenticeship side, isn't it? Really. I'd like to class these two lads have been apprenticeships. You done a course with us, didn't you? Come through it. You're now qualified in.
It wasn't with you though, was it? It was.
No, it was all me.
He's taking all the credit here.
He's taking credit, really.
It wasn't you, Steve. Wasn't you the person who funded it, was it? Yeah. Fucking hell.
Harsh.
They don't realise how much I put into these people.
No, I know.
It's not a two-way street here, Katie. All he's going to do is run away and start doing his own podcast.
We know you get good apprentices and then you get ones that aren't so good. So.
Yeah, good and bad.
What can you do?
Good and bad.
What can you do? Ungrateful.
Happy days. Well, there we go. I tell you what we haven't touched on.
Yeah.
Katie Crane's podcast.
Yeah.
Now, I'm returning the favour now. I was on your one.
You do. Yeah, that was a good episode. I was thinking about that episode the other day. And I was talking to you. It was really late at night. And
it was. I was on night shift.
You looked jaded. It's a good job I don't use video.
I was down the port. Yeah, 100%.
You did. You looked jaded.
Because I listened to someone on a heart, a breathing apparatus or something.
You did look tired, bless you.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast.
I think I was double shifting that day.
You did look a bit tired.
I was definitely double shifting.
Yeah. You do look a lot fresher today.
Well, Bradley Cooper and all that.
Yeah, you're Bradley Cooper hair.
Yeah. You've had a few good guests on there, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I managed to get some really good guests on there.
Adam was on there, wasn't he?
Adam on the tools, Adam.
I spoke to Lee. I was like, you was definitely on it, Lee.
No,
he was like, no, I wasn't. And then I went, oh, sorry, it was Adam.
And people don't usually go for Adam. They usually go for Lee.
Yeah, and expect Adam last week.
Yeah.
We had a good crack with them.
No, it's
yeah,
a good
they're good
podcast
guys.
as well. I like the guys anyway. I've done a bit of work with them in the past.
They are funny.
They're good, yeah.
And then who else is on there? Trying to think who else you had on there. I've listened to quite a few of them.
Yeah, you're lying now.
No, I'm not.
He's
I was
like trying to-
dedicated. I brought that show together.
I listened to all of them. Who was on there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's someone brilliant.
Okay, sorry.
You were on there.
Exactly. That was the one.
That was the best episode we did.
Have you been on many podcasts? I've once. Did you go on a few? You do get involved with a bit of media, don't you?
I do get around a little bit, but no, not too many podcasts.
Yeah.
Not too many. I do get asked to do a lot of things, and I'm not very good at juggling things.
But it's doing that, and there is a fine line of people just, and we get it. Can you do this for us? Do this, but then, yeah, okay, no worries. We'll just set a price over. Oh no! Backtrack. We had that on a project recently.
Yeah.
Could you come into us and do a talk on the day for this, and this? So I went, yeah, no problem. So I know who you are. You're a tier 1 contract and that. So, but we can't operate unless we're funded. Full stop. Okay, no worries. Yeah, could you send put over an email then? Did it? Nothing back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And you get that from the whole industry.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much we've done where no one recoups anything.
I think people just expect things for free. We're just an industry where people expect. I mean, I don't think I've ever been paid for anything I've done.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's people who make a living out of this. So
yeah.
and then people who do consulting and they want to do talks and things like that. And I know
sales careers. That's what it is. We're just bad salesmen.
That's shit it. But they get asked all the time to do things, and they always want it gratis. Can you come in and talk to my company? Can you come in and talk to this?
Yeah.
Can you come in and do this? Can you come in and? But these people are working independently. They haven't got big companies behind them. How are you expecting them to do this and not get paid? I mean, I did. Not name dropping any. Well, I did construction news, women in engineering awards thingy talks. And I was what they call it when you're the lead talker.
Panel host.
No. You know I can't think of it. But when you open the show and you get up and you're the first talker and whatever. And I did that. And
the star of the show is what
you're
trying to say.
I was the most important person there, and that's what they call it. No.
This is exactly what you said. I was the headline. I sold the tickets. At least you're quite blunt about it.
Anyway, so somebody said to me afterwards, "Would they pay you?" I said, "Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing. Maybe nothing."
No.
They said you should have got paid for that. They charged for the tickets.
This is the thing. I kind of don't get it as well. Yeah, and we're supported by a number of exhibitions that get involved, and they do, and they are pretty much and they'll give us an opportunity to fundraise there as well, and they put us in front of a good audience. But then there's other ones you think, we've gone the stretch of this country for you effers, and but no,
I'm surprised with you though because you are a charity.
Yeah,
and people know that.
Yeah, people think, but that's what you go out for. Because you're a charity. No, and this is the bonkers thing with this sector. Like the amount of people, if they sat down with me and I explained to them what we've done and what we've not been paid for, not because we haven't, but things we haven't. But we have been recouped in other ways. I get that, but that's not because of them. That's because of people have seen us, what we've done, and then people get support. So, but we've got to now, and this is part of the event at the end of the month that you'll be attending it. You're on the panel for free.
On the panel for. I wouldn't take money from a charity. Just a croissant.
We'll send you some gifts.
And I mean, you bought me a coffee today, which was nice.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. I'll buy you lunch after. That'll do it. We've got Wimpy down the road still. We'll do that. But yeah, there's been a few national highways. We went to an event with them, and they said, "Is there a cost?" And I said, "That you're putting us in front of literally 100 different people, different companies.
Yeah.
Like we're massively thankful for that. And I got along with the guys." And they ended up making a hefty donation off the back of the event anyway. And I was like, Jesus. And I didn't expect that. I was going to charge them 10% of that if I was going to charge.
Yeah.
And then they literally put a hefty...
that's really kind, though.
Yeah, and it was beyond belief. I was like, Jesus. I was like, thank you so much. But they're like, well, we sold tickets for the event and we raised this amount and this done this. So why wouldn't we give it your way? I was like, can you just let everybody know, please? that these people know.
We put out a press release.
But it is literally that. And people are like, yeah, what are you expecting? And then people expect, for something for free from us because we're a charity. But then it's like, yeah, but people still need funding.
Yeah.
But every time we go to London, I'm like, it still costs us 60 quid to return ticket from where we are here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the price of the trains and all that, it's extortionate. Plus our day's time. And that's now this year. And at the end of this month, we're going to be saying that now going forward to companies like, we can't do this unless we're supported, full stop. Like especially in this world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally, we've got lunch
No,
out this day in
definitely.
London. Jesus Christ, 100 quid, 120 quid for
It's
lunch.
a lot,
for
isn't
four
it?
of
You've
us.
got team with you. It's not just
Yeah.
you're not just
Got
flying
baggage.
solo. You got baggage. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of baggage. But thank you for all your help and support. It was
Well,
without your
always.
support.
Happy to.
We come to the CPA Awards
Yep.
conference, CPA conference.
Conference, yep.
Last year. Thank you very much for getting us involved with that. That's brilliant.
You're
Peter
fantastic.
as well. And yeah, long may it continue. I'm
No,
sure you'll be
exactly.
back in the studio at some point. You can come and give us a lowdown
Yeah. Just don't ask me any hard questions. Be like that.
on what you're up to, your new fancy role, what you're going to go doing, and your new titles, and what you worked out what it's called.
Deal with publications mostly.
Katie, I'll shake your hands. I'll shake your hands at the end. Deal. Done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks for
How
having
long
me.
was that, Al?
1 hour 30.
Oh,
We went for it. I thought we were hitting about 2 hours there.
it's starting to fucking drag.
Yeah.